Come on, Slowpoke. We are going for a walk to our neighbor's house over here, but what we're going to do is we are going to walk 3 llamas. First time ever doing that. Show you that in just a moment.
Did you ever see them running?
Who? The llamas?
Yeah? Or did you see ever llamas running?
No.
It is so different. It's like when you see
To YouTube. Today's life talk is we all have our history. We all have our stories of our past, good, bad, or indifferent. And I want you to think about your history, your personal young history or older history, depending on your age, and reflect. And how's it going for you? Is it going well? Did you make adjustments? Are you struggling? And I'm going to share with you my life story in just a few minutes. As you can tell, it's winter here in Colorado. Got a lot of snow. We need the moisture because it's been a very dry year. I've lost a few pine trees this year that I had to, pick up last week and dump them because they're no good. My goal for this year, 2021, is to plant a few more trees. Tomorrow is my 49th birthday. My goal is in 2022, when I am 50, this entire property will be completed with trees that's already clean. If you see those 3 posts right there, that's where we hired someone to build a porch. That's going to look beautiful. And I have other ideas. My wife and I have other ideas of what we want to do. Here's my story. Born and raised in Los Angeles. By the time I was 6 years old, my parents were separated. I don't even know if they were married. Technically, I assumed that they were married, but I don't. So I was raised by my mom and my sister, who was older than me by 2.5 years. That's who I grew up with. My story is there's a lot of things that I can do and a lot of things that I can't do. I wasn't raised by my father, so there's a lot of handy things that I can't do, but I've learned outdoor stuff. I can do that. I love it. I love it. I learn. And mechanical stuff, not interested. Electrical things, not interested. I'll have to hire someone. Fast forward to when I was a teenager, that's when the difficulties in my life began because I started to notice that there was alcoholism in my family. And when I would notice that my mom would drink, it was the worst thing that I could see because my mom wasn't abusive at all, but she would like to get buzzed, not drunk. I never saw her drunk. I would see her buzzed often. And I would remember, and my challenge was, that's not my mom, that's somebody else, and I didn't like that. And then I started to rebel. At the age of 15, I ran away from home. That's part of my story. I had nowhere to go, so I went to a phone, public phone, if you know what that is, on a corner. And I called my father collect, meaning I didn't even have money, 20 cents for a phone call or whatever it was back then. In 1987, he picked me up. He made me apologize to my mom for verbally saying things that I shouldn't have. Not good. That hurt in me made me rebel and say things that were not right and that I had a challenge with. That's another part of my history, is because I'm a smaller guy. I'm not strong, like physical. I'm 5'9". I weigh 145 pounds. And growing up back then, my challenge was I could fight, but I wasn't a threat to anyone. So my coping mechanism was verbal abuse, and that's not a good thing. And the good thing about me is that I'm aware of that, so I continue to work on that and sometimes keep my mouth shut. So I went to my father. I lived with him, to live with my father for 2 years, and then that ended up in a challenge where we didn't even talk to each other for a full year. So I ended up at 17 going back to my mom's. At the age of 19, that's when I was in college, not doing too well. I left home at the age of 19 once and for all. and I started my life. And my friends became my family, my guy friends out in Los Angeles. And then I got kicked out of college at the age of 21 maybe, because I was having too much fun in Los Angeles. And I'd love to travel, and that was more important to me than doing good in college. Looking back, I was a very intelligent student, and I worked hard in school, in high school, but I wasn't groomed to succeed. And that's not it's not a bad thing if you can make adjustments and grow up and mature and look at and pay attention to what people are doing, other students, so you can successfully finish school, which was my goal. I earned my bachelor's degree at the age of 29. At the age of 22, I was arrested once for petty theft. My friend went into a 7-Eleven store, ran out with a 12-pack of beer. I was waiting outside for him so I can drive the car and we can take off, but we got caught. And my friend said, go, go, go. And I was like, nope, there's a police officer right in front of us. I'm not going to make it worse. And that was a big mistake. And I realized I need to do something with my life, and that's when I said, I don't know what to do. So I like to travel, I like challenges. Let me join the Air Force. And luckily I came into the Air Force. I came in with a moral waiver because of my misdemeanor, and I completed community service, 40 hours of Caltrans, which is you pick up garbage on the side of the highway. I did that. I was on 1-year probation, and I successfully finished that. And I said, I never ever want to mess around with nonsense or get arrested, and I haven't since. That's the beauty of maturity. I got married at the age of 24. 3 weeks later, I went into basic training. That's part of my story. I've been married coming up on 25 years in March of 2021. My marriage, first and foremost to my wife, is my number one thing in life. Then it's my children. And the reason is my commitment was to my wife. And I grew up where I saw verbal abuse, I saw physical abuse, and I saw divorce multiple times with my mom. And I just remember thinking, what can I do different to spend the rest of my life with one person? And it's still a work in progress, meaning it's not automatic. We know what works, we know what doesn't work, but we have a really good thing going on. And I appreciate my wife. I appreciate what I have. And what I have, big or small, whether it's a relationship, a jacket, whatever it is that I have that I own, I take care of. I treasure it. And I also like to give. That's a different topic. My story involves, one of those strengths that I have is dealing with people, and I love to deal with people, and I'm blessed. Tomorrow I'll go to work. There is a class called TAP, Transition Assistance Program, and I can't wait to do my introduction and to help these people. My story may be similar to yours, maybe it's different, but everybody has their own story. And one of the things that I don't do is have that pity party of saying, I didn't have the opportunities that this person had, or I wasn't raised that way. You know what? I was raised my way, and sometimes we have no control over that. But as we grow up, we have control over what we can do, what we want to do, whether it's success, challenges, or failures. We have to take control, realizing that there are some things that we don't or can't control. So remember that. What is your story? I gave you mine in 49 years and 7 minutes so far. But think about where you are. I treasure life. I love life. I love health. I realize by watching others that eventually we can be gone today, or eventually we won't be able to be mobile anymore because age catches up to us. But in the meantime, I'm going to treasure my body and take care of myself, and yes, have a cheeseburger, but have oatmeal and exercise, or mental health, spiritual health. I hope you have a great 2021. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.